Exploring amazing things based on true story. How was Spider-Man born? Spider-Man is a very successful superhero, but how did the famous character come about? We told you his real story, a bit surreal and a bit obsessive. His creator, Stan Lee, was born in New York in 1922, son of a Romanian immigrant couple. His father occasionally found work as a tailor. In 1939, after graduating from high school at 16, he began writing comics in a small publishing house called Timely Comics, which would eventually become the giant Marvel. In 1947, he married Joan Boocock, an English model who served as his unrestricted support for all his writings. His great success began in the 60s with his prestigious creations. Together with artists Ditko and Kirby, he was co-responsible for X-Men, Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, the Incredible Hulk, Thor, Wasp, Ant-Man, Black Panther, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch. Each of these characters were brought to life in animated videos. Stan Lee impressed everyone by his overflowing enthusiasm and great speed in writing. He once said, "Almost everything I've ever written, I've been able to finish in one sitting. I'm really a very fast writer. I may not be the best, but I'm certainly the fastest." In mid-1961, the publisher demanded that he quickly create a new superhero. Stressed, he went back home, wondering what else he could invent, what novel superpower he could offer. As he thought persistently, he noticed a fly walking on the wall and pondered. It could be someone capable of sticking to walls and climbing them. A flyman, or perhaps a mosquito man. In the end, he decided on Spider-Man. Then he decided, just for fun, that it should be a young high school student with a lot of personal and money problems. Stan Lee took his ideas to his editor-in-chief, who, as an intellectual, logical, corporate executive, replied that it was the worst proposal he had ever been given in his life. He claimed that people hated spiders. That's why he couldn't call his superhero Spider-Man. It would sound scary and in very bad taste, nor could it be embodied in a teenager because they can only aspire to be the companion of a superhero. Apart from that, no superhero could ever suffer any personal or financial problems. It was then that Stan Lee went back home very disappointed but not defeated, because he could not forget his Spider-Man. He said, "I was the only one who created it, and I felt deep inside me that it could be something sublime, something unbeatable. It was like a magical feeling, perhaps obsessive, but it could never fit any of these stereotypes argued by the management." It was the precise moment when they were going to make the last issue of the magazine Amazing Fantasies. Amazing Fantasies was about to close because it wasn't selling anything. So, when they're doing the last issue, nobody cares what's in there because the magazine is about to die. So, Stan Lee, trying to get it out of his head, put his Spider-Man in its entirety on that cover and in its contents, published on the 15th of August 62. For the time being, he could forget about his Spider-Man, but it was only 4 weeks later when the sales figures took it by storm. Stan Lee commented afterwards, "My boss visited me, euphoric, and shouted at me, 'Stan, remember that character we both loved so much? That one, what's his name? Spider-Man? Well, that's it. Let's get in his own series right away.'" Since then, Spider-Man has been so well received around the world that he is now considered the most popular and iconic comic book and fictional character of all time. Spider-Man is the alias of Peter Parker, an orphan raised by his aunt and uncle, May and Ben, after his parents were killed in an air accident. The young boy deals with his teenage conflicts and also money problems. Stan Lee connected him with many secondary characters, such as Jonah Jameson, his friend, with Swen Stacy, his romance, and with enemies among his worst, Dr. Octopus. Peter Parker had been bitten by a radioactive spider, acquiring abilities such as clinging to every surface, superhuman strength and agility, and detecting dangers. He also builds web shooter devices mounted on his wrists that launch artificial webs of his own design. While Spider-Man had the qualities of a loyal sidekick compared to earlier teenage heroes such as Robin, he didn't have a superhero trainer like Batman. Therefore, he had to learn on his own that with great power comes great responsibility. Over years, Spider-Man always faced problems. He went from a shy high school student to an extroverted college student, then became a married high school teacher, and since 2010, a single freelance photographer. In the 2000s, he joins the Avengers. From 2012 to 2014, with his arch nemesis, Dr. Octopus, followed a body-swapping plot in which Peter appeared to die. Marvel has also published books with alternate versions, such as Spider-Man 2099, which features adventures of Spider-Man of the future. In an alternate universe, the teenager Peter Parker is introduced, and Miles Morales assumes the role of Spider-Man after Peter Parker's supposed death. Miles later rejoins the mainline continuity, where he sometimes works alongside the real Peter. In short, Spider-Man has become the most commercially successful superhero saga and franchise in the world around. It has appeared in countless formats, including animated TV and live-action series, newspaper comic strips, and countless movie and musical series. It is a multimedia giant owned by Walt Disney Companies and worth billions of dollars. Stan Lee died writing his comics on the 12th of November 2018 at the age of 95, and a year earlier his wife passed away. It's been rumored that they had an only daughter, nothing open to public and media, so information about who survives him is not immediately available. Expert critics from all over the world agree that the spark that distinguished the superheroes of Stan Lee and also his fellows Tim, Ditko, and Kirby is that they all had flaws and real-life problems, that their powers could not work them out. They assure that the power they always wanted to highlight is that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Exploring amazing things based on true stuff.